What's going on, beautiful people? Over the last 72 hours, I was able to create an entire business idea, business branding, and have a very solidified foundation that is backed by research and an extensive amount of inference. And this was done with Lutra AI. Yes, we did do a video on this before, but after doing that video, I began using this practically 24/7. And I want to walk you guys through just how I created an entire business using only AI. So let's dive in. All right. So in creating this business, it did not start inside of an AI agent. It started in Gemini. Yes, 2.5 Flash to be exact. And all I did was say, I'm thinking about going 100% into AI education. And this will be a transition from my current branding agency into AI education things. Now, I'm not stopping branding. My branding business and my AI education business will be two separate things. But I just told it this is what I'm thinking about. And so it detailed to me, hey, you're pivoting to AI education. These are the things to look at. These are the audiences to look at. This is what you can put out. These are some ideas and some ways that you can offer and make money, monetize. And so it gave me a whole entire plan like this, but I didn't want to use that. So I asked it, hey, this is like a skeptical question. Like, do you think AI educators will be here when AGI is here? And it said, there will always be a place for human educators. And so I said, what demographic do you think will need AI educators the longest, even after AGI is achieved? And it gave me them. So I just wanted to test out the Canvas part in creating a landing page with the limited information we did generate um based off of the prompts I was putting in. And so this is what it came up with. It was just a draft. It didn't code it, but it was a draft of, what can go on there. And so what I did was basically take that and put it into another site and got that created. But after that, I decided to ask it to help me come up with names and keep in mind good naming practices and high attraction for buyout investors, because I do plan on selling something like this in the future. And it gave me a bunch of names. Cognito AI. Cognito relates to cognition and understanding, linking to education. Scintellect. I like Scintellect. Scintellect is really cool. Neuralis, Verve AI. I mean, these are some pretty cool names, modern and tech focused. But then you get into AI Mastery Group, Future Ready AI, Applied AI Learning. But the one I decided to go with is something else. I wanted a summary of everything that we had talked about just so I didn't get confused, and it put it together. This is the plan. These are the pricing. This is the demographic. This is the naming. You know what I'm saying? It really compiled everything together. And I said, this is the thing that was really, really powerful. I said, give me comprehensive step-by-step process on tasks that need to be done to bring this business to life. And I want an AI agent to do it. For example, X, Y, and Z. I want different sections of things that need to be completed, then tasks to get them done. So it went out and created this business launch plan. It said section 1, market research and niche fulfillment, refinement. And with this plan, I said, based on that plan, give me a list of prompts I can send directly to the AI agent in order. Now, as you can see, I am not using any brain power in this section. I am not utilizing any large amount of force or brain power or anything. I am letting AI do it all. And so it came up with all of these prompts. And all I did was tell Lutra, I said, hey, I'm starting a new business. And I put in the first 3 prompts. And one thing inside of Lutra, if you want to conserve your messages per day, you add multiple tasks into one. Now, you can probably add 5, 10 tasks into it. But since these are tasks that are decently robust, I wanted to keep it a little bit on the shorter end. So I input those prompts, the same prompts. I just copied and pasted. I said, one, do this, two, do this, three, do that. And it went and researched, it got all of the analysis, and it gave me a report. So this is the report, all of the findings that it got. And it was basically doing research about the top AI education providers. Now, these are universities, these aren't individuals, but then they got some companies in here. And so, or some tools in here, the learning platforms, the course creation platforms, consultants. It has everything, and this is great for competitor research. One of the things that AI is going to make so much easier for us is knowing where to insert ourselves and what's working and what's not for other people, because we can literally just send an agent out to do extensive research on all of the places that that business shows up and things like that. So gives us a complete thing. The target audience for these platforms is, university-based programs offered to target senior executive and business leaders. And so it was giving me an idea of who they're targeting and what gaps in the market exist. And so I then went back in and inputted the next two prompts. So analyze recent search trends and synthesize the findings from target research. So it went and did that, and it came back and gave me the most popular and trending AI business course and topics on Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, etc. And with this, I'm able to see if it wants to load. Um, Maybe it won't load, but it did synthesize the findings. And this is really just condensing what it went through and getting the actual specific information I wanted out of it. So, what trending topics are people looking for? What problems are business owners having, et cetera, et cetera. And so, in this, I literally have content ideas. I can say, hey, here's how you can use AI in healthcare. Here's how you can use AI engineering to enhance your business. Here's how AI is for everyone. Here's so many different things. And so it's doing this based on research. And after that, I said, create a business plan based on these findings. And it created an entire business plan. An entire business plan that has an executive summary. I mean, it's formatted well. It said, AI educate. I chose this name. I believe Gemini did give me a suggestion for this. So I told Gemini to give me logo ideas for AI educate. So AI educate is the name that I chose, and it gave me logo ideas, gave me these ideas, and this is away from Lutra. We got the business plan, but now we're on kind of like the branding part. We got the name, now we need a logo. So I chose to do a abstract logo, and that is this one right here. So the geometric one. The letters AI designed with very clean geometric shapes, perhaps with a subtle glow or gradient, and word educate in a complementary clear font. So then we went to ChatGPT, which we know is great at making pictures and getting text to look how it is supposed to. And I said the same exact prompt that it gave me. I did not change it. I copied this and I pasted it inside of ChatGPT with the create image function. And it created this image. And I said, hey, this is really nice. I can actually use this straight off the bat. But I said I wanted a horizontal one, and so it gave me a horizontal one. Um, Certain adjustments I had to make Juke the same size as AI, change the ratio, etc., etc. Like I was just in here trying to hone it in, but then I wanted to have a symbol to go along with the word mark. And so I said, give me a symbol or an abstract icon idea to go with my word mark. And so it gave me all of these ideas. And this one stood out to me because I was like a spark. I really like the spark thing because it kind of shows a feeling of augmentation whenever you have that spark up there. Like the same logo that Gemini uses, that spark is very attractive, I will say. And so all I did was copy and paste that into ChatGPT, and this is what it gave me. Now, as a brand designer, this is phenomenal. This is a logo that I can see everywhere, like literally everywhere. And so I had to make these materials usable and functional. And so what I did was drag both of these logos inside of Illustrator. I image traced, so black and white preview, and let's turn the threshold up or down to get the actual logo. You get the point. Okay, so I extracted the logo and we had this A. So this is what I extracted right here. This is what I extracted. AI educate. Okay. And then when it gave me that abstract icon, I put it inside of here and I just um kind of made this a negative space icon. So the A is a negative space icon. And then we have the abstract geometric stacked icon that it gave us with the spark. And I just image traced this and we got this logo. I redid it. I fixed the shape so that the shapes are pixel perfect, and we made the final files, the different colors. This is what I came up with. I mean, actually, this is what ChatGPT came up with when it was creating the brand, and so we now have these main logos. We have the AI Educate, just the AI Educate under it, and then we have the word mark plus the icon. So this is the combination mark. We have the icon by itself. So word mark, combination mark, icon, and just the black and white, just to kind of show it. And that is how I created the minimal brand, the MVP brand for AI Educate. Going back to Lutra, we got it to make our business plan, and then I said, hey, I want to confirm my idea. I don't want to jump into this without knowing that it will work. So help me create an ebook that I can utilize to gauge market demand. This is a step that a lot of people skip in creating a business, and especially 11, 12 years ago when I was first starting my business as a young kid, I skipped this step, and it is that you need to gauge the market. You need to gather research on the demand that is present, because if you don't, you could be jumping into a business that isn't going to work. So I asked it, create this ebook title, and this title actually came from one of these generations. I'm not sure where it came from, but one of them told me that, is it in the business plan? It was like marketing strategy, SMB AI implementation, free assessment tool. I guess it's not here, but I'm pretty sure that this did generate it. So I said, make this ebook for me and create an outline for it. I didn't want it to give me the information because usually, you know, when people get all of the information from AI, it's just very watered down. It's very generic. And so I want to go in here and based off of my actual experience, I'm going to go in here and change um, a lot of the information. So realistic AI implementation budgets, evaluate AI tools based on your business requirements. Like these are sections that I'm going to go in and do myself. But it gave us the whole entire outline and also resources to go along with it. So these three resources are going to reinforce that ebook and give more perceived value for those that do decide to get it. And so I did have an example of a really, really, really robust lead magnet from a community that I was in before that was for business growth. And I just inputted it in here and I said, hey, use this same format and style and give me an owner's guide. And so it gave me that guide. Of course, some of the coding is incorrect, but that's on me to fix. And so it did capture the tone, the word usage, the actual progression of the guide that I gave it for inspiration, and it did the same for me. So a lot of this stuff is going to change. If you do decide to get this guide, it is going to be free. It is going to be helping small business owners begin to understand and implement AI and what you need to pay attention to, what you need to know in a few short pages. And so a lot of this is going to change, but it created this entire guide for me in seconds. Realize, in seconds, 34 seconds. It took 34 seconds to do this. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy, and it gave me more resources to build out, to add on to the guide. And so, very, very powerful. Now, after it did this, this was actually before I created the logo in ChatGPT because I realized that it would be better. The model that Lutra is using is the ChatGPT model, but for some reason they just give different outputs. And so this logo was very, very generic. Everybody is probably going to use a logo like this with a brain and a light bulb and a graduation cap. Like, it's just very, very generic. I would hate to use something like that. And um I was just, playing around with it in there. And it gave me this really bad generic output. Like, that was just so trash. I'm gonna be honest. But I asked it to develop a social media content plan to establish thought leadership. And I gave it some context. On YouTube, I currently do AI tool walkthroughs and explanations. So for the other sites, I don't want to have too many content styles. And that's something that you should look at as well. Whenever you are creating content for your business, utilize 1 to 2 content styles for each platform. So on Instagram, you only do 2 things, or 3 things. On LinkedIn, you only do 1 or 2 things. On YouTube, you only do a couple things. Like, do not make it confusing for people to consume your specific content on that platform. You don't want to have too many things going on. So it created this whole entire plan. It didn't give me a document for it, but it gave me the calendar as well, Monday through Friday. And so what I can do is every single week have 5 rotation of posts that people can expect. On Monday, you got myth busting. On Tuesday, you have a tour review. On Wednesday, you have implementation roadmap, setting up your first AI automation. And it's going to be helping people to understand this better on an ongoing basis. Thursday, we have a case study. And on Friday, we have a before and after. And every single week, we have that same thing going on. And so I wanted to get organized again, and I said compile everything. Create multiple Google documents for related topics and embed the links for each document inside the main file talking about the business and planning. So this is the powerful part about Lutra, is that it has all of these integrations that we can use, and even we can add custom integrations. If you know a MCP server URL, you can add it into Lutra and Lutra can use it. And we have tons that it can use already, but the only ones that it's using right now is Gmail, Drive, Docs, and Sheets, and OpenAI. So those are the only ones that it's using right now. But it went in, created all of the documents. It fell into a problem. So I just said continue, and it gave me all of these documents. It gave me all of these documents within my account, structured properly with all of the information. Like, if I go over here, you see all of these documents were created by AI, were created by Lutra. And so compiled everything, put some stuff in Google Drive, an image. I don't even know what this image is. Oh, so that was just a PNG image of the logo. So you can get a logo from here. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't get Lucha to do my logo. As a designer myself, I'll just, take an idea and then just build it out type thing. So it created all that stuff. Then I said create landing page copy to start lead generation, and it actually created the landing page for me. So this was the first landing page that it came up with. Very simple, not really appealing to the eye in terms of alignment and spacing, but the information is there. Like, the information is there. And so I said this is a great start. Funnels definitely do look like this, and I don't see that if you have a good traffic source, if people come to this page, that they just wouldn't download it. I mean, it's free. So I said, let's work harder on this landing page. And I wanted it to make some changes. I had an inspiration funnel that I found. And so I said, hey, based on this page, I want you to make it better, more like this page, this UI, and fix the spacing. Ran into another problem. I said continue, and then it continued. So this is the redesign. We can see a few drastic changes. Animations are included. You have cards down here for the what you'll learn inside. We have a custom icon that it created. Now I did end up changing that icon, but you can see the overall structure has changed, and it's been based on the reference that I gave it. This is very, very powerful. And so it did that. I then inputted my logo. You guys remember, we went inside of Illustrator, and right here, well, you guys can't see it, but we went inside of Illustrator and we got the white logo, exported it as a SVG. SVG is the file that you need for website logos because they are scalable. SVG is in code, so you'll always be able to, have a great looking logo on your website. And I also gave it a background image, and I said, hey, put this logo in here and attach this photo behind the gradient in the background. So it then gave me this one, which we can see the image in the background. We have our logo at the top, and we have our guide. We didn't ask it to change much on the page, so it added those two things. And so let me close these really quick. I wanted to refine even more because what I did was go to either Grok or Gemini, I want to say. Okay, no. I went to Gemini and I said, I gave it the URL from Lutra, and I decided to actually, I had to get a screen capture of the actual page to get to Lutra because this link is just in raw format, so it can't read that. And it gave me suggestions. I then copied all of this. I said, here's some recommendations. I copied all of this, and inside of Lutra, I pasted it. That's it. So then it went in and created an updated landing page, which it kind of looks the same, but you can see subtle differences. You'll have a clear plan from day one to full implementation, a different look here, a different look here. I mean, more animations, added this onto it. Like it made subtle changes based on the feedback that I gave. And so wanted to hone it in even more. And I uploaded a screenshot from another funnel that had this kind of typewriter effect for different words. And so I wanted the same thing. And I said, add a dynamic typewriter text effect. And it did that. It did exactly that. So you can do literally anything. Like, I literally gave it the words to input into here, and it made the animation in HTML. Like, what more what more do you need to see? Get on Lutra right now. And so I then went in and told them, fix the typewriter effect. I'm probably going to go back to this version of the typewriter effect just because it's the best one that I got so far. But then I wanted it to generate a new image for this practical implementation. I didn't like this at all. And I did ask Gemini to give me an idea for practical implementation icon. And you guys can see that I'm switching back and forth between tools. And it's just because certain tools are better at other things. I don't want to use one of my messages to ask an AI agent one thing when I just want a response. Like, that just would be a bad use of credits. So gave me some ideas, went and pasted this inside of here with the ChatGPT integration, generate image from text, and guess what? It generated this image, this gear icon, which is a very nice icon. It does have some discrepancies, for example, that this little color change. I mean, it's not 100% perfect. If I created this same thing, it would be perfect because I'm a actual designer. But I said implement it into that. So what it did was replace the image right there. It went in and knew exactly what I was talking about, and it did fix this as well. I mean, it didn't fix the typewriter. So this is when the typewriter effect just kind of got crazy. And something like this is, I'm not sure how simple it is. So I was just like, I'm not even going to, be too mad about it. It just kept messing it up, but it did add back the rest of the page. That's one thing that it did do whenever it was changing, like just the hero section. It would forget to add back the about page or the implementation today or the reviews page. And so that's one thing that you have to fix. I just told it, hey, bring back all of the pages or the sections, and it was like, cool. So then I got it to design LinkedIn ad creatives to drive traffic to the landing page, add the image and caption to a spreadsheet. So it utilized ChatGPT. It already knew, it said, hey, they want me to create an image. Which one of my tools allow me to create an image? And it went and created this ad image. Now, you may be looking at this and say, that's a pretty bad image. I mean, the text is bad, it's not zoomed out enough, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that it can get this far on its own, stop guessing, calculate your AI ROI in minutes. Like, I mean, it got most of the way there. And then it also put that into Google Sheets for me. So at number one, headline, description, image prompt, call to action, target audience, image preview. You can literally copy and paste all of this stuff and test what works. You do not have to use your brain power at all. So here's a larger image of it. But it created that out, and it created the nurture sequence. So here's a cool thing. I was like, okay, it said LinkedIn ads and email sequence. Where's the email sequence? These are just ads. Bro, it's down at the bottom. It added a separate page. So now I literally have a whole entire email sequence and ads that I can begin running today. I have to just change out the tool name, but the thing is, I can literally just copy and paste this, put this into Gemini, and say, hey, use this tool, and this tool, and fix this for it. And then that's the email. And so you can see how brain, like, this was no time at all. This was just one day doing this part. And then I came back another day. I want to say this was starting the second day, something like that. But same thing that we did with the first few prompts. I input multiple. So step one, do this. Step two, do this. Step three, do this. It created a webinar script. It created a whole entire webinar, two webinars, and an outline for the actual AI education curriculum. So boom. Now in AI education, I now know a curriculum that I can utilize within the program for everything that I have to do. Now I have to just go film the videos, go get the information, go make the worksheets, go make the quizzes. Like, it's done all of the work for you. And we can see the webinar scripts. It has the slides, it has a script for you. And I read this out and I was like, bro, if I was in a webinar and someone was reading this out, like, I would not know it wasn't AI. I would not know that it wasn't AI. And so it did 2 webinars, and I then said doing more on the business side, just value proposition, tagline options, and then something pertaining to the SMB guide. And while it didn't add this to the SMB guide, I didn't specify like go to Google Docs and add this in there. So I told it again, update the SMB guide and the business plan with the taglines and the value propositions, and it did it to both. So it did it at that time. And we can see I went out and created the appendix resources for the guide, and it built those out for me. AI opportunity worksheet. What is your process? What's the description of that process? What are the challenges? It's able to basically, and I did this for myself. I looked at everything that I was doing on a day to day. I looked at what tasks that AI can do for me, and I wrote them down. And I said, hey, I do emails, I do research, I do creation of things. It can do all of this for me. And so all I had to do was go in, list out my process. And I have SOPs for my processes within my business. So I can actually just give that to an AI and tell it to do the same thing. But built out all of those for me. And I then wanted it to design some slides. Now, when we got here, it did it in HTML, and I will say this was a very good output. Now, this was alt text for the logo, but we can see like different spacing of things is a little bit off. But as far as a presentation goes, this is really cool. It's relatively good. It has a poll inside of here. Like, what? It has a chart. It created a chart. Like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, this was in how many seconds? It took 2 minutes to do this. It took 2 minutes to come up with the slides, and then it took some time to actually create the slides. And so that took a lot of time out. That took a lot of work out of my hands. And then I went to GenSpark. And one thing that GenSpark has implemented is AI slides. So you get the pattern. I went to GenSpark. I copied all of the slides from here. Oops. I copied all of the slides from here. I actually take a screenshot of this page, and I inputted it into GenSpark. So right here. And I was very, very impressed by this, because when you go and go over the charts, you can see that they're dynamic. They're dynamic. These are not static slides. These are slides that when you go and present them, you have animations to go with things. And I was looking at this like, wow. Now this type of presentation blows Lutra out of the water. You know, like this is very, very detailed. If I'm going over a part in the presentation where I want to say, hey, here are the AI opportunities for retail, manufacturing, professional services, and healthcare. These are some examples of how you can utilize AI. And it has an example use of my assessment tool. And so this gave me a very good idea for the assessment tool. It was to say, okay, if we have different metrics, we can give a rating. So as you can see, this one has a high amount of time spent, a medium business impact, and a low implementation difficulty. So it's a high rating for AI implementation. Now, financial reporting, it has a little less than medium time spent, a little less than medium business impact, and a about a medium implementation difficulty. So that one would be low. And that's just prioritizing which one you're going to go into. So it also gave a 30-day roadmap, of course, still dynamic charts. Bro, I love these charts. It gave this whole entire week process, and all of this is based off of our SMB guide. We got the guide generated, and then we got this generated. And so now it has a slide talking about the challenges. You can download the full checklist. I'm pretty sure you can click these. I just have to link them to certain stuff. And we have a Q&A section. I love this slide. This is my favorite slide, and it's because it has this section that moves when you hover it, but then this button is, coming out at you, and it's very, very cool. Very, very cool. So the last thing that I did was working on the actual landing page. And so this was the final landing page that it came up with. I'm going to go back and fix this because I don't necessarily like it. It's and this was after I told it to refactor the code because I wanted it to be easier, but it kind of just changed, way too much. I like the darker look, but I have to think from the standpoint of small business owners in my audience. Like when they come on this website, I want them to gravitate towards AI Educate. So that was the last thing I did, other than I said look for top performing posts on Instagram that are sharing AI tips and tricks and give me ideas based on ones that receive significant engagement or views. It said I don't have direct access to Instagram. Look, Instagram, you know what, bro? You are the only platform that doesn't allow people to look at posts. Give them a way to look at posts. I don't know why Instagram has not implemented that already. You already have millions of bots on your page. I mean, on your platform. Like, just give us the ability to look at posts. I should be able to tell an AI agent, go look at my page and all of the posts right now, and it should be able to see the post media, the likes, the comments, the saves, the metrics about it, everything. It needs to be able to see everything. But it couldn't, but it still gave me some ideas. And that was the last thing I did. Now, you guys can see that a lot was done with just Lutra. And this took none of my time. I was doing other stuff. I was actually on calls. I was doing other work. I wasn't even paying attention to Lucha that much. All I was doing was getting the information it gave, copying and pasting, giving my feedback, and it did everything for me. So you can kind of see just how powerful a tool like this can be. And I assure everyone, utilize this to the best of your capabilities. You just saw how much along the process of starting a business that I got with this with this tool or with multiple tools. And this is, where we're at right now. We have multiple tools that can do certain things better than others, and it's easy to switch between them now, but there will be a time when, just the same way that Lutra was able to say, hey, in order to create an image, I need to use this tool, platforms will be able to understand better what to use at what times, and you will have literally even less of a hands-on experience than I had. Like, mine was pretty hands-on just because I was, going in and giving different prompts, but sooner or later you'll be able to say, hey, create whatever business, create a book business, create a publishing business, and it'll generate everything that you need to be able to push to market. And all you have to do at that point is put the work in. So if you did learn something in this video, please consider sharing. I think this is super, super powerful for anyone that does take advantage of it. And thank you guys so much for 150 subscribers. Look, over the past month, we have grown 80 subscribers. We started off at 60 when we first started, and I cannot appreciate you guys more. I do plan on doing some bigger and better things. Of course, you see by this video, I am starting a new company. AI education is, it's captivated me since the inception. In 2022, 2023, whenever the first stuff came out, I started using it. And ever since then, every single day, I have been using AI for myself and my clients. And we can go over different workflows. I can show you how I create content with just AI that is well performing. I can show you how I repurpose long form and create AI edits. Yes, AI edits. You didn't even know that. And just explore all of that stuff. But this has been D-Lo Brands. I appreciate you for stopping by. Keep learning AI, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.